Ramakatha Rasavahini, Prema Sudhamritavahini, Sathya Sanatani Dharma Swarupini, Shanti Pradayini Mokshakarini, Ramakatha Rasavahini, Ramakatha Rasavahini.
Sai Ram, everyone. Just to recollect where we were last week, Swami has begun the chapter 2 of the Ramakatha Rasavahini, where he is describing the lineage of Sri Rama. He started with King Katwanga, who begot a son by the name Dilipa, and Dilipa grows up, and when he comes of age, King Katwanga arranges a marriage for him with Princess Sudakshina after searching for the suitable bride, and slowly he's starting to transfer his responsibilities as a king to him, in terms of a transition to him. So I think that's what we have discussed so far. So I will ask, I think Gopal uncle to read, I guess. I think we had read the first paragraph. Just to recollect, I think he can read the paragraph which is on the screen, and then we'll proceed.
In this paragraph, start with this one. Yeah.
Yes.
In the immaculate, pure solar dynasty was born the highly mighty, the far-famed, the strong-armed, the intensely loved and revered ruler, Katwanga. His rule showered supreme bliss on the immense population under his throne and persuaded them to pay homage to him as he were himself God. He had one and only son named Dilipa. He grew up shining in the glory of the knowledge and the value he shared with his father, the joy and the privilege of guarding and guiding the people. He moved amongst his subjects, eager to know their joys and sorrows, anxious to discover how best to relieve pain and distress, intent on the welfare and prosperity. The father watched his son grow straight and strong, virtuous and wise. He sought a bride for him so that after marriage he could place on his shoulders part of the burden of the scepter. He sought her in royal houses far and wide, for she must be a worthy companion for the prince. At last, the choice fell on the Magadhan princess Sudakshina. The wedding was celebrated with unsurpassed pomp and exultation by the people of the court.
Thank you very much, Uncle. Sai Ram, when we had discussed this the paragraph, I think we had read it in Telugu also.
Yeah.
If anyone would like to discuss any aspect of the story this far, I would invite you all to share any thoughts you have. I think we have to see, is there something for us to learn? Is something which I know its story is nice, but is there something which we can learn from this? I will let the participants share what they think.
Sai Ram, Uncle.
Sai Ram.
Uncle, one thing I noticed was that I think the previous chapter Swami touched about how, I think in the conversation between Sukha, I think he talks about how the kings ruled and how the way they ruled also like showered. I think Swami in this says like supreme bliss. I think this is like an example of what Swami was touching on in the previous chapter, where Swami talked about the way in which the kings ruled. And I find that this is like a good example of that as well.
Thank you very much. I thought Shankar and somebody had raised their hand.
Yeah.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Any significance Swami picked up Katwanga as a start? I think a couple of more kings were there before Katwanga, right? Ikwakshu or somebody else there? Any particular reason why he picked up? Is it significant or not significant there?
Yeah, so I will, thanks for the question, Anna. Anyone who would like to discuss? Because Ikshwak is also another famous king in the lineage. The Swami does not seem to have started it. So the question is there any particular reason why Swami may have started with Katwanga? Anyone who has any idea or thoughts to share? Yes, no one has anything to add, I guess. I don't know. Possibly Swami, I don't know. It's whatever Swami does is he has some reason. Some reasons are not evident to us. That's all I would say. But I will leave it at that, Anna. Anyone?
Sure.
Any other? Yes, please.
Ram, uncle.
Sai Ram, Rohit.
So, yeah, it's a very good question, obviously, and judging from all of our silence, I think you rightly said it's hard to determine what the divine will, why chose King Katwanga. But I think Swami, I think last few sessions, this has come up a few times. How Swami has mentioned how we are. Uh, um Especially because we are in this day of Kali, where not to concentrate on the too much technicalities of the outer technicalities of the story, but rather to concentrate on the essence of it. Maybe that could be one of the reasons why Swami chose to start with King Katwanga, because maybe this is where the essence of Ramayana starts, which would be beneficial to us in this Kali Yuga. That's what my thinking is. Thank you, Sarah.
Very good, Rohit. Yeah, I think Swami would give us what is relevant for our understanding. So I think we can go with that answer. Anything else? I think Saishan had mentioned that.
Sai Ram,
Yes.
from this paragraph, what we can learn is, as we grow older, we should bequeath our responsibilities, everything gradually to our next generation, not to hold on to our own position, saying that I am the king, I want to own everything. That kind of attitude we have always. We're not ready to give up our things. So this shows that the king Katwanga gradually gave all his responsibilities, kingly duties to Dilipa, so that he can rule. He can continue the whole dynasty's fame and Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts? Yes, Rono Bina.
Sai Ram, just in terms of focusing on the values within the story rather than the external details, The one thing which struck us was early on, when I was talking about Khatvanga, is talking about how he persuaded the populace to pay homage to him, not demanded homage, but persuaded. So it's all a matter of the proper way in which one rules, right?
Yes, thank you. Any other thoughts from anyone? Okay, so maybe I will share some thoughts which I think Swami, especially the one which said he moved among his subjects, eager to know their joys and sorrows, anxious to discover how best to relieve pain and distress. So I think it's something which every one of us also can do in this world. We are all so focused on our own joys and sorrows and trying to relieve our own pains. But I think the king set the example of going around and trying to see if he can be of some help to others also. That also I found. And I also felt, finding a spouse for the children, he made sure that someone suitable in every respect for to help him as a companion in his discharge of duties also is important. And I think that's also something which I thought is nice. And on the topic of Ikshvaku, we should understand that the name Ikshvaku is going to be mentioned many, many times in the Ramakatha Rasavahini. So it's not that Swami has ignored, but I think Swami has started where he felt is the best place to start, I would say. Yes, Aishan, you have your hand up.
Yeah, Uncle, I think when you brought up that eager to know their joys and sorrows and anxious to discover how best to relieve their pain and distress, I think today when I was doing the discourse, I was transcribing some of the discourse today, and in that Swami actually says when one goes around having good thoughts, they will develop a feeling of joy, and through those good thoughts, having those good thoughts, that joy will also extend to those around him. And similarly, on the other hand, if one has bad thoughts, those bad thoughts will also extend to those around him, and it will make one's life like miserable. And Swami says that, and I think this is like pretty much saying the way they led was with joy, and through that they had passed it on to those around him, and that's how they led. And so that sentence, when you read that struck me.
Thank you, Sai. I think that Swami is saying he was shining in the glory of knowledge and virtue. That means he was spreading, his knowledge and virtue around him also. That's very nice. Anyone else would like to say anything? If not, we can move on. Okay, thanks. Sai Ram Gopal Uncle, you can read.
Sudakshina was endowed with all womanly virtues in ample measure. She was saintly and simple, and a sincere votary of her husband. She served her lord and poured love on him as if he were her very breath. She walked in the footsteps of her husband and never deviated from the path of righteousness. Dilipa too was the very embodiment of righteousness, and as a consequence, he saw that neither want nor disappointment affected him in the least. He held fast to the ideals and practices of his father so far as the administration of the empire was concerned, and so he could slowly and without any dislocation take upon himself the full responsibility of the administration. Thus he was able to give his father rest in his old age. Khatvanga rejoiced within himself, contemplating the great qualities of his son and observing his skill, efficiency, and practical wisdom. Some years passed thus. Then Khatvanga directed the court astrologers to to select an auspicious day, an hour for the coronation of Dilipa, and on the day fixed by them, he installed Dilipa as the monarch of the realm.
Okay, thank you very much, Uncle. I think I just wanted to point out, I think there's one place, I think the first sentence in the second paragraph, Dilipa too was very embodiment of righteousness, and as a consequence, he saw that neither want nor disappointment affected him in the least. It says. I think it should say her. I think when we
No,
read
like Dilipa. He is talking about Dilipa, no?
Yes, no, Auntie. I think when you read the Telugu, you will understand. Just the way Sudakshina was doing everything to serve him, he also made sure that there was no disappointment or want on the part of Sudakshina.
Yeah, correct. Later on in Telugu, it is correct.
Yes, yeah. So I just wanted to correct it, so people shouldn't think that he didn't care for Sudakshina. Okay, but that was the essence of that statement by Swami. We'll go to the Telugu and read Auntie. Sai Ram.
Sudakshina Maha Gunavanturalu.
Sudakshina was someone endowed with all the best qualities.
Sadviyunu Sarala Hrudayamuyunai Patini Anusarinchuchu Prana Samamuga Preminchi Sevinchu Chundenu.
She was a sattvic woman, she was a saintly woman. Not only that, her heart was very loving. And she followed her husband, and he treated him as if he is her own breath, and she loved and served him.
Okay. Patiyagu Dilipukudunu Maha Gunavantudaguttache Ame Ketti Lotuno Leka Chuchukonuchu. So
Dilipa also was equally a very good person. He was endowed with very great qualities. Therefore, with that, he also made sure that there was nothing lacking or wanting for Sudakshina.
Paripalana Vishayamuna Tandrini Anusarinchuchu Kramamuga Tandri Bhadyatalanitini Tane Chuchukonuchu.
So, in the subject of governing the country, he followed his father, and gradually he took over the responsibilities of the father, and took over all the responsibilities from him.
Konta Vishrantini Kaliginchuchuta Kadvangudu Gamaninchi Analo Tanu Kumarni Televitetlanu Tetalakuno Shakti Samarthirukmulakuno Ento Santa Sinchundewadu.
So the Katvanga, the father, was relieved to a great extent, or he got lots of free time, I would say. And so he observed his son, and he realized he was able to observe his great intelligence and also his abilities and also his skill in what he was doing, and he was overjoyed by that.
ఈ విధముగా కొంతకాలము గడిచెను.
In this, some time passed.
In this way.
In this.
ఖడ్వాంగుడు సుముహూర్తమును నిర్ణయించి దిలీపునకు రాజ్యపాలన పట్టము గావించెను.
So Katvanga found out or fixed an auspicious time, and he coronated Dilipa as the king.
Okay. నాటి నుండి దిలీప మహారాజును నామముతో సప్తద్వీప పతియగు వసుంధరకు ప్రభువై ధర్మపాలన జరుపుచుండ.
I think, Auntie, it is not yet read in English, so I will stop here.
Okay.
So only the coronation, the English paragraph.
He has not read it, but
yeah, I understand how he ruled. So I'll stop here. Anyone would like to clarify anything or would like to comment on what we have read so far? Is there something which we can learn from what we read? I think those are things which anyone can share.
I think, Uncle, as we're reading, like it shows signs of like similar qualities which Rama and like Bharata and like all of them and their wives, that the qualities that they, I guess, had, like you see it also similarly in Sudakshina and Dilipa. I think that comes out.
Very nice actions. Yes. So everyone in the way they lead their life, even their lineage will benefit from that, and that comes through. Yes. Any other qualities which anyone would like to point out?
Uncle.
Yes, Rohit.
This line is very still is very important for. I mean, as we carry Swami's kingdom forward as Swami's beloved children. Here it says about Dilipa. But Dilipa held fast to the ideals and practices of his father, so far as the administration of the empire was concerned, so he could slowly and without any dislocation take upon himself the full responsibility of administration. I think this is a very important message for all devotees. So we, like Swami saying, how as as uh, as the role of a son or a child or a daughter, it's very important to hold fast to the ideals of the ones that have come before us, our ancestors, our fathers, and for us, even as devotees, it's so important to hold fast the ideals that Swami has set for us, be it spiritual or be it even on an earthly journey. Like today, I was listening to a talk given by the dignitary from SSSGC USA. They're doing a tour in Prashanthi Lem, and briefly on the talk in Kulwant Hall, the gentleman touched about how it's so important to remain connected to the ideals and the way Prashanthi Lem has been set up for our spiritual journey. So I was able to relate that with this one, where Swami is saying it's so important to follow what has been set for us by Swami. That's all. That's what I understood. Thank you, Uncle.
Thank you very much, Rohit. Very nice points. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts? Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Sai Ram. So I was just going to say, Swami is telling how Grihastha Dharma should be followed, how Vanaprastha Dharma has to be followed. So Swami is just giving an insight how the king and the queen lived their life, and that in turn got reflected on the subjects. So just showing as husband and wife relationship, how a grihastha way of life should be led, and also that is from Dilipa and Sudakshina's perspective, and from Khatwanga's perspective, he was such a great king that he was worshipped as God himself, but then in his glory, in that kind of a thing. But then he knows actually that when it is time for him, he should go in search of that higher truth, kind of a thing. So that's where I think he hands over the responsibilities rather than holding on to his fame and all of that. He hands it over and is ready for his Vanaprastha. So two clear aspects of Grihastha and Vanaprastha, how it has to be adhered. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Thank you. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Sai Ram, brother. The Tilipa is embodiment of righteousness, right? So in that case, the sentence of that he neither want or disappointment affected him. First of all,
Sister,
if
it's
that's
not him. It's not him. It's her. See, just the way Sudakshina served her husband, Dilipa also served her.
yes, he saw that neither want or disappointment affected. first of all, the want is there itself. Is the right way of a person whoever upholding the righteousness? That's my one of the question. So is that the way Swami has said on that Kalang version? Just I wanted to understand on that little more.
So,
Thank you, Sai Ram.
sister, the Telugu basically says Dilipa, who was also equally a person with possessing great qualities, he made sure that Sudakshina was not lacking. She was not missing or wanting anything. So whatever Sudakshina needed, she was provided for by Dilipa. So that means just the way the wife looked after the welfare of the husband, it is the husband's responsibility also to look after the welfare of the wife. So that's what should come. That sentence is incorrect, sister. So it basically, Dilipa made sure there was nothing lacking for Sudakshina. I think I will ask Mani Auntie to comment on that. Amy Lorton Auntie.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
లోటును లేక
లోటు లేక
ఆమెకు
ఎట్టి లోటును లేక చూచుకొనుచు. For her, it actually, he saw that neither want nor disappointed affected her in the least. Instead of him there, if we put her, the select sentence.
And I think Sister Aruna is worried about the word want.
Want means desires.
Yeah, so can they have desires is a question. Sister, lotunu means, lotunu means nothing is lacking. Okay, so that's what it is. Nothing lacking, not that she had lots of
Nothing
desires.
lacking, yeah.
Whatever she asked, he went and bought, not like that.
Yes.
Okay. Ameku etti lotunu leka.
For her.
For her. Ame means for her.
For her.
Okay. So
for her, there was nothing was lacking.
Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Saramana, just to add to what you were saying, Dilipa was so perfect in his conduct that she didn't see any want of any improvement in Dilipa, which would have resulted as a desire in her. So it shows what a perfect dampati they were in the way they led their life, that there was no any want coming off. It's not just the physical want, but in terms of even the character of Dilipa was so blemishless that there was no wanting from that front also. So several layers we can understand. He was such an ideal husband that he left his wife with no want because he was like a Dharma Purusha, that kind of it.
Yeah, okay, good.
Thank you, Sai Satish.
Yes.
The exact meaning of lotu, sister,
yes,
is deficiency or defect.
Defect. Okay.
There was nothing deficient. There were no deficiencies, no defects were there for Sudakshina.
Okay.
Rather than want and disappointment. It looks like she had desires and she didn't want to be disappointed. It is not that. I think we should correct it. He saw that there were no defects or deficiencies which Sudakshina had to face.
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing lacking is also better.
Nothing lacking.
Nothing lacking. Lotu in Telugu, it means something
wrong.
Missing. Something missing.
Okay. Thank you. So I think we have reasonably discussed. Does anyone, if no one has anything, we can move on further. Okay, Sai Ram, Gopalan uncle.
From that day, Dilipa shone forth as the lord and the sovereign of the empire, which stretched from sea to sea with the 7 islands of the ocean. His rule was so just and compassionate, so much in conformity with the injunctions laid down in the scriptures, that rains came as plentifully as needed, and the harvest was rich and profuse. The entire empire was green and glorious, festive and full. The land was resonant with the sacred sound of the Vedas recited in every village, the purifying rhythm of the mantras chanted in the Vedic sacrifices performed throughout the land. Every community lived in concord with all the rest. Nevertheless, the Maharaja was apparently overcome by some mysterious anxiety. His face was losing effulgence. The lapse of a few years did not improve matters. Despair wrote, wrote its deep lines firmer on his brow. One day he revealed the cause of his gloom to his queen Sudakshina. Darling, we have no children, and sadness is overpowering me as a consequence. I am even more affected when I realize that this Ikshwaku dynasty will terminate with me. Some sin which I committed must have brought about this calamity. I am unable to decide the process by which I can counter this malign destiny. I am eager to learn from our family preceptor, the sage Vasishta, the means which I can win the grace of God and make amends for the sin. I am very much agitated by grief. What do you suggest as the best means to win grace?
Thank you very much, brother, uncle. Sister Aruna, you have your hand up. You want to say something? Okay, no. So, Auntie, we will read the Telugu.
నాటి నుండి దిలీప మహారాజును నామముతో సప్తద్వీపపతియగు వసుంధరకు ప్రభువై ధర్మపాలన జరుపుచుండ.
So, from that day, Dilipa, the Emperor Dilipa, he ruled the entire land or the entire earth, which covers the 6 islands.
7 islands.
Sorry, 7 islands as the king, and he protected Dharma in a dharmic way. He ruled the country, and
ధర్మపాలన జరుపుచుండ సకాల వర్షము కురిసి సస్యశ్యామలమై సమృద్ధిగా పండి.
పాడి పండ్లకెట్టి.
సకాల వర్షము, rains.
So there were timely rains, and there was growth and growth of all grains, and
సస్యశ్యామలం అంటే గ్రీనరీ.
in greenery.
Green and glorious. సమృద్ధిగా పండి.
In a very nice way they sort of grew.
పాడి పంటలకెట్టి కొరతయు లేక.
There was no lacking, I think. There was no deficiency in the harvest of grains and food.
లేక నిత్య కళ్యాణములతో వేద పారాయణములతో
continue always auspiciousness, and the Vedas were study of the Vedas.
శాస్త్ర సమ్మతమైన యజ్ఞ యాగాది క్రతువులతో,
with yajnas and yagas conducted according to the prescription in the scriptures.
అన్ని జాతుల వారు హాయిగా జీవించుచుండరి.
All the jatis, all the races lived very comfortably.
అన్ని జాతి కమ్యూనిటీ, ఆల్ కమ్యూనిటీస్. కానీ మహారాజునకు దినములు సంవత్సరములుగా గడుచుకొలది.
As for the king, as the days and the years passed by,
తనలో ఏదో అశాంతి బాధించుచుండినట్లుగా,
some uneasiness or lack of peace affected him.
అతని ముఖవర్చస్సు తెలుపుచుండెడిది.
His face itself showed that.
ముఖవర్చస్సు తెలుపు అంటే it became paleness.
His face paled.
Became pale. కొన్ని సంవత్సరములు గడిచెను.
Some years passed.
ఇచ్చ నెరవేరునని ఆశ దినదినమునకు నిరసించెను.
So the desire of his wish not fulfill for that to be fulfilled as days passed became disappointing, is it? And discourage.
నిరసించెను. ఒకనాడు తన రాణి యొగు సుదక్షిణతో తనలోని చింతను ఈ రీతిగా వెలిబుచ్చెను.
So one day he externalized his inner thought in this manner to his queen Sudakshina.
ప్రియ, మనకింత వరకును సంతానము లేకపోవుటచే.
So, oh my dear one, for us, for so far there has been no progeny.
కొడుకు లేరను చింత కంటేను ఇక్ష్వాకు వంశ ప్రసారం ఎట్లు కాగలదు?
More than the worry that I don't have a son, the worry that this Ikshvaku dynasty,
how will it proceed? ప్రసారం ఎట్లు కాగలదు?
How can it continue on? That worry,
విచారము నన్ను మరింత బాధించుచున్నది.
It is hurting me a lot more than the fact. So he's saying that the worry that the Ikshvaku dynasty will not continue on was bothering him more than the worry that he does not have a son.
దీనికి నేను అనుసరించిన ఏ పాపఫలము కారణము ఉండవచ్చును.
For this, some sin which I have committed may be the reason.
దాని పరిహార్థమై ఏమి చేయవలనో నాకు తోచుట లేదు.
What I should do to rectify that is not known to me.
దైవ కరుణా కటాక్షమును అందుకొనుటకు తగిన మార్గమేదియో మనకు కలుగు వరకు కుల గురువగు వారిని అడిగి.
So what can be done to receive the grace of God and what is the way forward? I have to find out from our Kula Guru,
వాళ్ళని అడిగి తెలుసుకొనవలెనని.
I have to ask Rishi Vasishtha and know it.
ఈనాడు నా మనసు తత్తురపడుచున్నది.
Today my mind is agitated.
That's I am very much agitated. That's all. What do you suggest as the best means? So ఇందుకు నీ ఉద్దేశమేమి అని దిలీపుడు అడుగా సుదక్షిణ ఆలస్యము చేయక ఆలోచించక. Next I think.
That is not yet started. So he's asking, he says this and he's asking, what do you think? He is trying to consult his wife. And Dilipa asks her.
Sudakshina.
Asks Sudakshina. So that's all. So, as you can see, Dilipa, he ruled the country well and all that in the most auspicious manner with protecting Vedas, Dharma and so on. And because of that, there was always plenty in the country and timely rains supported the harvests. However, for many years past, and he was not blessed with a son or a progeny. And that worried him a lot because he felt that the lineage will come to a stop with him. And he was more worried about that than not having a child of his own. So he felt that he should ask sage Vasishtha what to do. And he's asking his wife Sudakshina, what do you think about it? Okay, so I'll stop here. Anyone would like to comment on anything which touched you? Feel that you can learn something. Yes, Saishan, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, just a question. So in this case, is it that Dilipa has he's developed this desire for a son, which is why he is going down this path of feeling agitated and grief almost? Is that, am I understanding this correctly? Is he going after the worldly aspect, hence he's going through this quote unquote difficulties in his ruling? Is that why?
Okay, thank you very much. So Saishan's question is, was he upset that his desire for his son was not fulfilled? Is that the reason, or something else? Yes.
Sai Ram,
Yes, Sai Ram.
more than having a son, he wanted the Ikshvaku Vamsha, the dynasty of Ikshvaku should continue with the continuing generation. The next generation should continue. Sai Ram.
So, Auntie, like in that case, in that manner, is it still a worldly desire that he's after in that sense?
I don't think it is a desire.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Auntie.
Auntie, you're muted, Auntie, I think. You didn't.
Okay.
Still muted, Auntie.
His intention was not like that. It's not a desire. His intention was that Ikshvaku Vamsham, the dynasty, should continue. That's the only reason. Not that it was an express desire to have a child. No, I don't think so. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Auntie. I think Ron Bina had your hand up, but you interrupted.
Sai Ram. Yeah, I think Mani pretty much answered it, but just to differentiate the sort of continuity of the dynasty versus being one's own child. It's as a service to society, right? People tend to think of being the king as being sort of top of the heap, and you can order everyone around. But if you look in the Dharmic way, the way that Dilipa and others are ruling, it was a matter of serving constantly. And for the sake of the people, for their happiness, their prosperity, it's much safer to have it continued along the same family line. Because if you study history at all, when there comes an end of a dynasty, there's a mad grab for power, there's chaos. It's not fun. That's all I've got to say, Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Ron. Thank you. Yes, Shankarana, please go on.
Yeah, this is a great introduction by Bhagawan because this is a real trailer for what real Ramayana started few ages later. Exactly the same thing happened to Dasharatha, and exactly the way Sita has behaved herself with Rama. Everything is depicted from the previous lineage. It's a great introduction.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you. Yes, Brother Rohit.
So, I had a question. So, did Dilipa consider it as... So, we have established that it was not a desire per se from a personal perspective, but if he was as spiritually great as has been mentioned, how he was such an idealistic, such a great, almost as great as his, or even as great as his father. So did he consider it a sin that his lineage was ending? Like in those days, was it considered like you have failed in a spiritual sense of the word, that your lineage has ended? Because if he was really detached and his mind was only on God and he was following the Vedas and everything, shouldn't he have taken it as the will of the Lord and just surrendered instead of being so agitated by it?
Thank you very much, Rohit. So Rohit has a question. I think it's clear. Hopefully everyone. So Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Hi, Ramana. So if we see Dilipa was in all his resplendence and glory and all of that, till this desire came into him. So the desire can be tamasic, rajasic, or sattvic. So, but desire is desire. In this case, we can call it more of a possibly a sattva kind of a desire, because he's not looking at it for his own benefit as a father, but for the realm as such. And a good son who would become a great king and again take care of his subjects. All of that is there. But nevertheless, it shows that once that aspect of desire comes, then Swami says, as long as you have appointment, you have disappointment. So in this case, since that desire is there, that is what plunges him to grief. But the good part again is he's doing an introspection to see what is the cause of that, which of course again goes on for a course correction. But every time what we see is, if at the end of the day it is treated as will of God and accepted with all gratitude, then even when one is going through highs or lows, they stay the course. But if any time that principle of everything being a gift from God is dropped, then it leads to, why am I facing this situation? And then it's again the same thing. The desire to come out of that situation itself leads to further things that one person can fall into. So I'm just trying to say that at the end, it's no doubt for the sake of society, but again, it borders on the realm of a sattvic desire, or if I can call that, and then maybe that is the reason where a disappointment tag is attached to it. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Sai Ram, I know that's a question I also wants to understand. Before also I have that question, and now he is worrying about that the lineage part. So we are going to come, but Sai Sat is talking about the sattvic desire something. Desire is desire, right? There is something about sattvic. I wanted to understand a little more about that too. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sattvic desire, he said.
Yeah.
So I think, so
that's a good one.
Aruna's question is, can a desire ever be sattvic?
That's
And
a
if it
thing.
is so, and what are the sattvic desires? So we can also have those desires. I think that's a plan. Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead. If there is this sattvic, this is the only sattvic desire. If there are other sattvic desires, if you list, it will be useful for everyone.
Yeah, the sattvic desire is to become desireless. So if one can aspire for that state of desireless, that is the absolute sattvic desire. Because it is the same thing. You have to use one thorn to remove another thorn. So anything that is used to aspire to go towards God, that is a sattvic desire. Anything that goes away from God can be other non-sattvic desire. So that I would use as a classification. If it takes one towards Swami, sattvic. Because you're going towards Shuddha Sattva, it is obviously Sattva that is coming more into you. If it is taking you away from Swami, then non-sattvic. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Anyone else would like to? Yes, Auntie, please go ahead.
In the case of Dilipa, was it a sattvic desire or Sai Satish?
I'll have to ask Dilip Auntie. Sorry, I don't know.
See, the whole idea is to make our story the story of Dilipa. See, whenever we read, we have to put ourselves in the position of each of the characters and see how we would do also. I think that's something. And how they have done. So looking at that, and then we also can do something on our side. I think that's the idea. So the Dilipa who is you can talk from that perspective. But anyway, I will not put Sai Satish into my spot. Anyone else would like to share?
Sai Ram Anna, is it not that we need to, so to add to your point, Anna, is it not that Swami is expecting us to put ourselves into that situation and then see, because they are also ultimately human beings.
Yeah, exactly.
So we need to see, and probably in the Swami might give us the answer in the next slide itself. So we do not know. So probably I was just thinking that we should just wait for what Swami is providing as a reason and then go from there.
Okay, thank you, Bharani. Anyone else has some thoughts?
Uncle, sorry, I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
So you said, to your point about applying this in our daily life, so I had like a question. So, for example, if let's say as an office bearer for in this higher organization, if let's say you are at a place where you have the sattvic desire, as brother Sai Satish mentioned, to become desireless. So let's say we are at a point of time where even as an office bearer, you're very content, you're very happy, you wanna be desireless. You've prayed to Swami, Swami, I want to be desireless, please bless me. Now a week later, you see something which you can maybe change or improve, or as a service to the society or as a service to the organization that you are part of. But now that another desire comes along, which it is to serve others, so you can also count it as a sattvic desire. So now, which one is the correct desire? Like, do you continue with your desires where you can ignore their problem and be like, you know what, I have chosen to be desireless, so I'm going to be desireless, so let the problems continue, it's not my problem, I have to surrender to Swami? Or do we act in that moment and actually pray that, oh Swami, please change this for us, because this is not the right thing to happen? So how do we determine whether we should go with the desire or not?
Okay, so I think you have asked questions which, as Bharini says, will be addressed in many different points. Such desires, how the organization, or if we have a role, what we should do. We can anyway ask people who are holding positions who are part of the study circle to comment on it. But I think I will just comment on this with its desire of based on my understanding, just to discuss what is in front of us rather than what is going to come. I think what comes through here is Dileepa saying, I think when he's talking to Sudakshina as a wife. So I think we should understand they're demonstrating to us what is the purpose of marriage itself. So marriage, as you can see, a person marries someone so that they will become partners in the discharge of the duty. I think which is already mentioned. So that means whatever the wife is there to support the husband in the discharge of Dharma. And as you can see, Sudakshina is doing her part. Dileepa is also making sure that Sudakshina's contribution, just because she's not taking for granted, also keeping her happy and all that. And because they led a life that the country was prosperous. They always say if the king rules it well, the country will be always prosperous, there will be timely rain, there won't be any natural disasters and things like. I think that Swami is showing. So that means both of them are leading a very dharmic life in that manner. But there's also another aspect to marriage, which is to keep the progeny and contribute to the society so that their future citizens are also brought about. And as that's also another purpose of marriage itself. Not the way we go about marriage in today's modern day world, where we think getting married is for us to be happy for our own selfish reasons. But that's the way the king took it. So I think when we look at the second part, so Dileepa is talking as a human being who wants a son. So that's also a worry. Then there is another thing also, which as a king, and he has a duty to make sure that there's a progeny and the lineage continues. That's a duty. So which is actually for the welfare of the world and so on. As a king, it is his job to make sure that there's transition, there's continuity and so on. So there are two worries. Both the worries are troubling him. But as you can see, Dileepa says the worry that there is no lineage continuity is much more worrisome for him than his own personal worry of not having a child. So there you can see all of us struggle with, we have our individual desires, whether it's sattvic or asattvic. But there is a duty to the society also. So as you can see, for Dileepa, the duty towards the society and as a role as a king was much more worrisome than his own personal desire. So so that's the way. So you can see whenever we are doing something in the world, whenever we are living, there are our personal problems are there, societal problems are there. The societal problem should take higher take more attention from us, as I thought came through very well. So this is the problem which every king, including Rama, is facing. There's a personal problem, there is a societal problem. Which do you give importance to? So you can see that theme running throughout the Ramayana. And wherever somebody took the personal one, everything crumbled. So I think that also we will come across. But I think Swami is just showing us how each of us face in this world personal challenges, worldly challenges. We have to be equally tuned to both of them and give societal issues much more importance. Sorry, I will stop here. Auntie Mani Auntie, you have something to say.
At the same time, not only his personal problem, he had his wife's view also about this particular problem. She also must be satisfied, in this process. So any mother, any lady would like to have a child. So maybe that was also one of his reasons why he shows this. Sai Ram.
Very nicely put, Auntie. So, it's not about himself because both of them are together. Even though he wants to go to the Vasishta, he's asking his wife's opinion about it. And we can see how, how they discuss and come to a consensus in the next paragraph. Thank you, Auntie. So I think we have analyzed it a lot. So we'll continue. Yes, Uncle Gopala.
Sudakshina did not take time even to think out the answer. Lord, the same fear had entered my mind too and caused me much grief. I have not given expression to it. I smothered it in the mind, for I cannot. Reveal my fears without being prompted by you, my Lord. I am ever willing and eager to support and follow implicitly what appeals to you as the best means of overcoming our sorrow. Why should there be any delay? Let us hasten to consult revered Vasishta, she said. Dilipa ordered the chariot to be brought for the pilgrimage to the hermitage of the preceptor. He directed that no escort or courtier need accompany him that day. In fact, he drove the vehicle himself and reached the simple cottage of his Gurudev. At the sound of the chariot, the hermits on the outskirts of the ashram went into the cottage and made known to their master the arrival of the ruler of the empire. Vasishta showered his blessings on him as soon as he saw him near the door and lovingly inquired about his health and the welfare of his subjects and his kith and kin. Sudakshina fell at the feet of the sage's consort, the famous Arundhati, embodiment of all virtues which adorn the noblest of women. Arundhati lifted her into her arms and fondly embraced her, prodding her with questions about her welfare. She led her into the inner part of the hermitage.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you, Auntie. We can read the Telugu.
సుదక్షిణ ఆలస్యము చేయక ఆలోచించక నాథ ఇదే ఆలోచన నాలోనూ చాలా దినముల నుండి చున్నప్పటికీ
Sudakshina, without any delay, responded, saying, "O Lord, this thought has also been, hurting me also for all day by day."
బాధించుచున్నప్పటికీ పతి ఆజ్ఞ లేక నా తలంపును బయట పెట్టుట తప్పగుమో ఎనమో అని నాలోనే నేను అణుచుకొంటిని.
So I have not revealed it so far, thinking that it may not be proper for me to express it without you asking for it.
Without your permission. పతి ఆజ్ఞ తమ ఇచ్ఛను అనుసరించుటకు నేను ఎల్లప్పుడూ సిద్ధమే.
I am ready to follow your thought at any point in time.
అనున్నది తమకు విదితమే కదా.
Isn't that which is prescribed?
Which is known to you.
which is known to you.
ఇందుకు ఆలస్యం ఎందుకు?
What is the need for delay?
డిలే అని రాణి తన అంగీకారమును తెలుపగానే,
When the queen expressed her agreement,
దిలీపుడు రథమును సిద్ధము చేయించి,
so Dilipa right away got a chariot ready.
ఈనాడు నా వెంట పరివారము రక్షక భటులు ఎవ్వరును రానక్కర్లేదు.
So he's told that none of his retinue nor all his security detail should follow him.
అని ఆజ్ఞాపించి తానే రథమును నడుపుకొని గురుదేవులకు వశిష్ఠుల వారి ఆశ్రమము చేరెను.
So he thus ordered, and he himself drove the chariot and went to the ashrama of his guru Vashishta.
రథ శబ్దము వినగానే వెలుపలనున్న ఆశ్రమ వాసులు లోనికి వెళ్ళి,
so as soon as they heard the sound of a chariot, the people who were on the outside outskirts, they went inside the ashram.
గురువు గారికి తెలుప వశిష్ఠుల వారు ద్వారము చెంతకు వచ్చి,
so they made known to the guru about this, and Vashishta right away came to the doorstep.
దిలీపుని ఆశీర్వదించి,
he blessed Dilipa.
కుశల ప్రశ్నములు గావించుచుండా,
so he asked him about his well-being.
రాణి సుదక్షిణ చెంతనే ఉన్న అరుంధతి దేవికి నమస్కరించెను.
So right away the queen Sudakshina bowed down to Arundhati Devi.
That's it. అంత అరుంధతి ఆమెను ఆశీర్వదించి,
so the Arundhati also blessed Sudakshina.
ప్రేమతో కుశల ప్రశ్నలు గావించుచు,
he also inquired about the well-being.
లోనికి తీసుకొని వెళ్ళను.
he took her inside.
That's it.
So I'll stop here. So you can see that how the queen agreed, and both of them thought alike, and they right away, without delaying, they rushed to King Vashishta, and he went in a simple manner to see the Guru. You can see that also, and how they were welcomed by the sage Vashishta and his wife Arundhati. So I'll stop here. If anyone would like to comment on anything here which we can learn from, please go ahead, Sai Ram. Yes, Ron, Abina.
Sai Ram, in this whole paragraph, I really admire that how in a critical condition one goes to Guru to seek the blessing. So that's what it's enchanting. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Beena. Thank you. Sai Ram, anyone else would like to say, share anything which struck you? I think it's no one. I think it's a nice description. So, but I think one thing which came to light is when you go to see a guru, how do you go? Very simple terms. Not showing off your retinue and so. It was very simple manner. Dilipa went number one. Also, how the guru also welcomed him, and Sudaksha, Arundhati also welcomed them. Yeah, it also shows their love, mutual love and respect for each other, I would say. It's very nice. They also show that a good king will always have the best gurus around to guide also. And they also listen. That interaction, as Beena mentioned, shows that, one needs to always keep the guru or somebody to guide and also listen and be ready to seek their advice or guidance when there's a problem. I think all this come through very clearly. So I will stop here. If everyone is okay, then we'll proceed a little further. Gopalan uncle. Gopalan uncle, you'll unmute and read, or otherwise Saishan you can read. Okay, Gopalan uncle.
As befitted the monarch of the realm, Dilipa inquired from Vasishtha whether the yajnas and the yagas the ascetics had to perform as part of their cultural tradition were being carried out without any handicap, whether the anchorites were experiencing any difficulties in acquiring food and carrying on their studies and spiritual practices, and whether their sylvan campuses were terrorized by wild beasts. He was yearning, he said, to make their studies and spiritual exercises progress well without any distraction due to the adverse environment or counter influences. When the king and the queen entered the cottage and sat in their places with the assembled sages and seekers, Vasishtha suggested to the latter to move into their own hermitages and ask the king the reason for his coming to his place, accompanied by the queen and none else. The king communicated to his preceptor the nature and the depth of his grief and prayed for the only one remedy that could remove it, namely his grace. Listening to that prayer, Vasishtha was lost in deep meditation. Perfect silence prevailed. The king too sat in the lotus posture on the bare floor and merged his mind in God. The queen attuned her mind with the divine.
Thank you, uncle. Mani auntie.
Sai Ram, Arun,
Yes.
anchorites, what does it mean? Whether the anchorites were experiencing any difficulty?
Anchorites are all the shishyas, all the students in the ashram. Okay.
Sai.
I don't know the word anchorite is, I think so.
I don't know.
Old term, it's okay. But I think we will read the Telugu.
Then I think. Anta రాజకూడను ప్రభు ధర్మమును అనుసరించి.
So the king also followed the dharma of a king.
ఆశ్రమ జనులకు కానీ యజ్ఞ యాగాది సత్కర్మలకు కానీ
for the people who have belonged to the ashram, or for the yajnas and yaga and such good sattvic activities,
లేక ఆహార విహారములకు కానీ,
or for food and other aspects of their life,
ఎట్టి ఇబ్బందియు లేక,
for whether there was no problems or troubles,
అరణ్యమునందు క్రూర మృగముల బాధలు లేక,
whether there were any harm caused by wild animals,
తమ తమ నిత్యానుష్ఠానములు సక్రముగా జరుగుచున్నవి కదా.
So he inquired whether all the daily anushtanas, the prescribed practices, whether they are continuing without no difficulties or obstacles.
అని గురువైన వశిష్ఠుల వారిని ఆశ్రమ వాసులను కుశల ప్రశ్నములు గావించుచు.
So he also inquired about the welfare of the Guru Vasishtha as well as all the residents of the ashramas.
లోనికి వెళ్ళి వారి వారి ఆసనములు వారు స్వీకరించిరి.
So everyone went inside and took up their seats.
అంత వశిష్ఠుల వారు అచటున్న ఆశ్రమ వాసులను తమ తమ వసతులకు వెళ్ళమని ఆజ్ఞాపించి.
So Vasishtha told all the ashrama vasis who had gathered there to go back to their respective places, residences.
రాజు తన ఆశ్రమమునకు రాణి సమేతుడై వచ్చిన కారణమును తెలుపుమని అడుగా.
So he asked the king what was the reason for him to come along with the queen to the ashram?
రాజు తనకు గల కొరతను విచారమును వినయముతో విన్నవించి
The king expressed his worry and his feeling of lacking something. With humbly, he expressed it to the Guru.
తమ అనుగ్రహము తప్ప ఇందుకు అన్య మార్గము లేదు అని ప్రార్థించెను.
He prayed that other than your grace, there is no other path available for him. He thus prayed to Vasishtha.
ప్రార్థన ఒకవైపు ఆలకించుచు
So as soon as listening to that prayer, as soon as he heard that,
వశిష్ఠుల వారు ధ్యానములో లీనమై
Vasishtha went into meditation.
కొంతకాలము నిశ్శబ్దమును పూనియుండుటను
As he remained silent for a little while,
చూచి రాజు కూడా తన రాణితో దైవ చింతనము చేయుచు.
So the king also, along with the queen, spent time thinking of God or godly thoughts.
పద్మాసీనుడై నెల కూర్చెను.
He sat on the floor in Padmasana.
That's it.
So you can see the king expressed his, king, he was not rushing to express his desire. He also made sure that he inquired about the well-being of the ashram, the devotees, and as a king, what he is supposed to do. And then only when asked by Vasishtha, he expressed his this worry and wish. I will stop here. If anyone would like to comment on anything or which you're touched by anything which may be relevant to us, please go ahead. Yes, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. So in light of that earlier discussion, what Mani Aunty mentioned also about King Dilipa's desire being in sattvic nature, if we see from this aspect and based on what you had also shared, in general, Dilipa's nature is more of inquiring about the well-being of others, catering for others' prosperity and overall well-being, and then only he comes to his own personal need. So which we can clearly see in this aspect. First, the same thing, inquire everything, well-being of sage Vasishtha, his ashram, his disciples, everything, and then come to his own thing, even if he considers it for the sake of the dynasty and so on still. So clearly, and also the second aspect to the same thing is only when a person is in a ability to give, will he get. So even when we see later on way down when Rama goes and meets Sugriva, he first works towards getting Sugriva's wife and then only places his own getting Sita back as a thing. So always, I think, even in a dire state of need, when we are in a position to give, even in that dire state of need, I think only then do we get blessed with getting truly that aspect. So every time it teaches so much that first placing that, like what Swami would say, the reason of what is true joy, J-O-Y, like Jesus or God first, others next, and yourself last. So in that order, if one places themselves last and keeping God and everybody else first, I think then it not only benefits that individual, it also becomes a greater benefit to everyone involved. Sorry.
Very nice, Ashutosh. Thank you. Anyone else would like to comment on anything which we read? Because I don't know whether everyone is doing meditation because Vasishtha is. I understand in all of you silent and spending time on godly thoughts. It's about 10:14. I think it has been a very nice story is nicely evolving, and we are learning how we should conduct our lives many aspects. Each character in the story will come and explain to us how life has to be lived, and they're showing it's all about others first, ourselves last. All of us can identify, because all of us have some problem or other plaguing us, something which we think is dire, situation. Even in such situation, we should see whether others are suffering, and we should try to solve their issues, and that itself makes us deserved to receive some grace from God. And I think that's coming through clearly so far. So with those words, if I will just pause again for a few seconds, if anyone has something to say. If not, we can close and we can again meet next week to continue the Vahini study. Sai Ram. I guess there's no other thoughts. So we will close the session. Thanks for coming and sharing the time with all of us. We'll close with Samasta Loka prayer.